Across the sands of time, ancient cultures worshiped gods who mirrored their hopes, fears, and sacrifices. But few deities evoke as much horror and mystery as the Canaanite god associated with child sacrifice, Moloch. Who was this enigmatic figure? And why would parents offer their children to the flames in his name? Today, we dive into the heart of this ancient myth and uncover the truths hidden within. The land of Canaan, nestled between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River, was a crossroads of ancient civilizations. By 2000 BCE, the Canaanites had developed a complex pantheon of gods. Among them were El, the supreme god, and Baal, the storm god who controlled fertility and harvests. But lurking in the shadows of this divine family was Moloch, a god whose name still strikes fear. The Bible, ancient texts, and archaeological finds all hint at his presence, but he remains one of the most controversial figures in history. Moloch's infamy largely comes from the Bible, where he is depicted as a god who demanded child sacrifice. The book of Leviticus explicitly forbids the Israelites from offering their children to Moloch, stating, "Do not give any of your children to be sacrificed to Moloch, for you must not profane the name of your god." The rituals attributed to Moloch were chilling. Ancient sources describe a giant bronze statue with outstretched arms, heated until it glowed red-hot. Children were placed in its searing grasp, offered as sacrifices to ensure prosperity, protection, or victory in battle. Though these accounts come primarily from Greek and Roman writers, such as Diodorus Siculus and Plutarch, many historians argue that these descriptions might have been exaggerated for propaganda purposes. After all, demonizing an enemy's religion was a common tactic in the ancient world. Rome and Carthage were bitter rivals, and the Romans used Moloch's supposed atrocities to justify their conquests. But archaeological evidence, like the Tophets, cemeteries filled with urns containing the remains of infants, suggests that child sacrifice may indeed have been part of certain Canaanite practices. Moloch's true identity is shrouded in mystery. Some scholars believe he wasn't a distinct god but a title or aspect of another deity, like Baal or El. The name Moloch may derive from the Hebrew word MLK, meaning king, or from the root MLK, associated with offerings. Others suggest Moloch was a representation of the Canaanites' fears and desperation. In times of famine, plague, or war, parents might have turned to the ultimate sacrifice, believing it could save their community. Interestingly, the idea of child sacrifice wasn't unique to Canaan. Cultures across the world, from the Aztecs in Mesoamerica to the Druids in Europe, practiced similar rituals. Was this a shared human response to existential threats, or did these practices arise independently? The Bible repeatedly condemns Moloch, reflecting the Israelites' struggle to distance themselves from Canaanite practices. King Josiah of Judah, for example, destroyed the Tophet in the Valley of Hinnom, where children were sacrificed. This valley, known as Gehenna in Greek, became synonymous with hell in Christian theology, a place of fire, torment, and eternal damnation. Even in death, Moloch's legacy lingered, shaping our visions of the afterlife. Over the centuries, Moloch transformed from a feared deity to a symbol of greed, corruption, and the cost of progress. In the 20th century, the silent film Metropolis depicted Moloch as a monstrous machine that consumed workers in a fiery inferno, a powerful critique of industrialization. Poet Allen Ginsberg invoked Moloch in his 1956 masterpiece Howl, describing him as the embodiment of capitalism's dehumanizing forces. Even today, the name Moloch evokes sacrifice, not of children, but of time, ethics, and humanity itself. So, what do we make of Moloch? Was he a literal god, a misunderstood title, or a scapegoat used by rivals to demonize the Canaanites? The answer may never be clear, but his story teaches us something universal. It's a reminder of the lengths to which humans will go in times of desperation. It challenges us to question what sacrifices we're willing to make, and whether those sacrifices are truly worth the cost. From the fires of ancient Canaan to the furnaces of industry, Moloch's shadow looms large. He is not just a figure of the past, but a reflection of humanity's darkest fears and deepest hopes. So, as we light our fires and make our offerings, Be they to gods, corporations, or ideals, let's ask ourselves, what are we willing to sacrifice? And at what cost? Thank you for joining us on this journey into the past. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring,